It's the second. Wrap it. It's the Welcome into a Thursday edition of Main Street Sports Today. I'm going to swap us around here. There we are. What's up, Mo? I see you now. I see you before, but now it just looks like I'm looking at you. What's going on, man?
Just trying to make it.
Yeah, that's been the theme of the week, hasn't it? I mean, we've got a lot going on this week. We have so much happening, getting ready for high school football, as Main Street Murray will be putting out its first ever high school football preview, but it will be you and I together doing our third high school football preview.
Oh goodness, time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
That's wild to me. It doesn't seem like it was 3 years ago, but boy, go figure. I guess it was 2 years ago, but technically
this will be our third collaboration. Yes,
it is wild to think about, man. But I'm so glad that we are able to take care of you guys down in southern Middle Tennessee, obviously for the most comprehensive and complete coverage of high school sports in southern Middle Tennessee. Main Street Murray and mainstreetmurray.com is where you can get that. Mo, am I breaking up yet? Because my computer is telling me that my Wi-Fi is iffy.
I'm hearing you
uninterrupted.
Your Wi-Fi is iffy. I like that. No, I'm hearing you uninterrupted. You're not spotty yet, so maybe it's just warning us.
That's exactly what it is. It's all good. It's all good. All right. Well, why don't we hop in as quickly as we can and talk about our top story today? Because, Mo, I guess it's an opening kickoff, but when we talk about retirements, what did we call it? The victory formation. Not a player retirement, but a number is being retired here locally.
A number is being retired here locally on a couple of levels, actually, as former Middle Tennessee State standout and current Tennessee Titans standout Kevin Byard's number 20 will be retired in the borough officially during a September 30th ceremony at MTSU's home game against Texas San Antonio. Hopefully that won't be the only highlight of the day, but anyway, it was announced by MTSU President Sid McPhee and MTSU Athletics Director Chris Massaro earlier today following a Titans practice up at St. Thomas Sports Park. So that's huge, man. Kevin will become the second MTSU football player to have his number retired. Former standout Teddy Morris, his number 14 was retired in 1965. So what's that? 35?
It's been a minute.
It's been quite some time. Yeah, 57 years.
That's insane. That's certainly longer than half the time that Middle Tennessee's been playing football, I have to imagine.
You would think.
At least close.
And couldn't be a more deserving guy. I mean, when you just look at his career at MTSU from 12 to 15, when he left MTSU, he was the all-time leader in interceptions, interception return yards, interception return touchdowns, and is one of 9 all-time Blue Raiders with 300 or more tackles. He also forced 25 turnovers in 49 games, so that's one every 2 games. That ain't bad. first team all conference selection. He was a Football Writers Association of America freshman All American and led MTSU in picks all 4 years. So, I mean, he was certainly impactful during his collegiate career and has kept that up at the NFL level. So, again, probably could not be a more deserving individual of having their number retired.
You there?
I am.
Sorry, you you you
At some
froze up
point I
on
went
me.
out, huh?
Yeah. I'm sure everyone else heard you. I just did not. Again, my Wi-Fi is iffy right now, and it is what it is. I'm gonna try to do this. It's not gonna look as professional as it could, Mo, but I would like to share and show the. I would like to show you the video if that's possible. Can you see this video, guys? This is from Jim White of TennesseeTitans.com. Doesn't sound like, Mo, that we can hear it.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like there's that the audio is coming through, which is really unfortunate. Because it looks like great video.
It is great video from Jim White, but obviously you can see the excitement on Kevin Byard's face here as they present him with that number 20. That is a clean, brand new jersey there with Rick Stockstill, and what he said, 111-year history of the athletics department. They have retired 6 numbers, Mo.
Across all sports.
2 wow. In football. And Byard being the second, as you just mentioned. So, yeah, 6 in 111 years. That seems like it's one of those places that really puts an emphasis on, you've got to be pretty great in order to get a number retired. So,
it's an honor that should not be taken lightly. I mean, when you're taking a number out of circulation that no one can ever wear again, I think you have to make sure that is the person that you're doing it to recognize. You got to make sure that there's no question in anybody's mind. I think, yeah, this guy is deserving of that. And so, and KB, again, was definitely that during his career at MTSU and has been that since he left campus. So
that's right. All right. Well, Mo, it is time once again to tell folks what happened yesterday, what's happening today as we get to today's rundown. How about it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm trying.
I'll help out.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yesterday's action on the Diamond: Phillies 3, Braves 1, Marlins 3, Reds nothing. It was the Pirates 8, the Brewers 7. Cubs and Cardinals were postponed until today. Game 1 taking place now, maybe over by now. And the Sounds downed Norfolk 8-2. That's 2 days in a row, Mo, that they have beaten. They've scored 8 runs on Norfolk.
There we go. Offense is good. Unless you're post 19. And yesterday's American Legion Southeast Regional, as we mentioned yesterday, Evans, Georgia, handed Post 19 a 5-0 defeat, dropping them into the losers bracket of that tournament over in Asheboro, North Carolina. In WNBA action on Wednesday, it was the Atlanta Dream with a 91-81 win over the Indiana Fever. The New York Liberty defeated the LA Sparks 64-61, and the Seattle Storm with an 89-77 victory over the Minnesota Lynx.
In MLS action, Charlotte shut out DC United 3-0. It was Montreal 2, Columbus 1. Nashville SC and Portland knotted at 1 in full time. And then Miami with a 1-0 victory over San Jose.
In today's pro baseball action, as you mentioned, the Brewers and the Pirates in progress at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Also
3-3 right now in the bottom of the 8th.
Okay, and the Cubs and Cardinals in the first game of a double dip in St. Louis. The second game scheduled for 6:45 at 6:10 tonight. That 5-game, 4-day series that we've been talking about for a week starts up at Citi Field as the Atlanta Braves go in there. Minor League Baseball, the Sounds continue their 6-game series at Norfolk. That's a 5:35 start. And in American Legion Southeast Regional action over in Asheboro, North Carolina, Post 19 is eliminated by Rock Hill, South Carolina, 11-3.
The Cubs are up 3-0 in the 7th on the Cardinals in that first game. Tonight in NFL action, that's right, you heard me, National Football League action tonight. Jacksonville, Las Vegas. 7 p.m. NBC live from Canton, Ohio in the Hall of Fame game. How about that?
Goodness gracious.
Doesn't seem real. Doesn't seem real. In WNBA action tonight, Phoenix is at Connecticut. That's a 6 p.m. tip on ESPN2. And Las Vegas will take on Dallas at 7 p.m. And that will be on ESPN3, which I learned recently is an actual thing. Well, I thought ESPN Plus took over that, but apparently not. So ESPN3 is a separate thing from ESPN Plus, and they've got WNBA action tonight. So how about that?
How about
that? Is going to do it for our first segment of the day. We have a great show lined up for you, as we are going to be joined by brand new Columbia Central boys basketball coach Ken CUTLIP in the next segment on Coach's Corner. Later, we have Justin APODACA, who will join us from 24/7 Sports and RedRaidersports.com. So stick around on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We will be back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
So I'm buying 2 of them.
Yeah.
Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao alongside Mo Patton here as we are getting ready. And I need to correct myself, Mo. I said 24/7. I meant Rivals. Red Raiders Sports is with Rivals. I know. That's like calling somebody from Alabama an Auburn fan.
Yeah.
That is my apologies. My apologies. So yes, from Rivals, Justin Apodaca. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
We will get that right. And I apologize once again, Justin. But looking forward to talking to him about some Big 12 action a little bit later tonight. But first, Mo, we have Coach's Corner presented by our friends at From the Heart Cafe over in Chapel Hill.
Our guest on Coach's Corner is, I don't guess he's new at this point. It's been about a month now since Ken CUTLIP was named boys basketball coach at Columbia Central High School after an 18-year run at Science Hill, during which he won 505 games. So they certainly did not run him off, but we want to welcome him to Columbia. Ken CUTLIP, Coach, appreciate you. Looks like you're in your office there, and we appreciate you taking some time with us here this afternoon. You guys aren't in class today, are you?
Oh, I can't hear him.
I can't either.
Oh no, I'm not sure what to do. What is the
Coach, bear with us just a second. We are not getting audio from you, so you can clearly hear us, but at the moment we can't hear you. So hang on just a second.
It's certainly interesting. Billy, any thoughts on this one?
Coach,
Coach, is your mic muted, Coach?
I'm sorry?
He was asking if Ken's mic is muted.
No, it wasn't. We'll throw him back in. Okay, he should be good to go, but we still can't hear him. That's weird. I mean, he's in the same links that we're in, so
yeah, I'm not sure why we're not getting him.
That shouldn't be an issue. Coach, can you go out and come back in? Maybe it could have been a problem on our end, having you muted when you came in. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah,
we'll try again with Coach CUTLIP here as we get going on again. Coach's Corner presented by From the Heart Cafe out in Chapel Hill. Renee Hart and the fine folks out there always taking care of us and you. Just make sure to head out there and say hello to them and let them know that Chris and Mo sent you, because you might just get some. The dessert might be just a little bit better if you tell them we sent you.
Maybe an extra scoop or something.
You might get an extra scoop of ice cream or something, a little a la mode and ice cream. So, it is. You're right though, Mo. He's not necessarily new, but he is new because the next game he coaches in Columbia will be his first. We have him back now, so let's try it one more time. See if we can get you, Coach. Can you hear us now, or can we hear you now?
We cannot.
Still cannot hear him. That is very odd, and I don't know if obviously his computer is not muted. I'll tell you what. Can we take a break, Billy, and just take a quick, and let's see if we can't.
Yeah.
If I can get him on the phone and ask and check out something.
Yep, we'll do.
Thank you. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. I don't think it's you, man. I really don't. Mixer today. Can't. Billy, can he call into the call-in number? I know that's, if he could do that, that would be great.
Yes. Yeah.
And do you think that even though you're not using the mixer, that should be okay?
Should be.
All right.
Again,
I'm gonna give him that phone number, and let's see if we can't get him in by phone, if that is something that we can do.
Okay.
All right. For those of you who did not know, we do have a call-in number here. You guys can call us, but this may be the best way to go about it right now. We'll try to get him in by phone, and like I said, Mo, you know, it's crazy that school is starting. We have so many new coaches, and we talked about football season coming up with what we have. We have 5 new football coaches here in Southern Middle Tennessee. I just read a story today. Montgomery Central's got a new coach. Dixon's got a new coach. A lot of new coaches across Middle Tennessee this year.
Yeah, Dixon's new coach is Montgomery Central's old coach, actually. So yeah, so that's kind of the way that goes. But yeah, there has been a pretty good bit of turnover. I don't know if it's any more this year, but I think with 5 football coaches in our area, it certainly feels like it. But again, Ken CUTLIP, a new boys basketball coach in the area, one of at least 3, as I can think of off the top of my head.
We got 2 in Mount Pleasant, boys and girls.
Right, yeah.
And then whoever we get down in Zion, they're still open. So
yeah. Spring Hill also looking for a girls coach. And
that's right.
So there's quite a bit of movement in the coaching ranks across Maury County and Southern Middle Tennessee this year. And hopefully we'll be able to get one of them on with us here in the next bit.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I wanted to get into this in the next segment, but before, since we are efforting, while we are continuing to effort. Did you see the ESPN story about playing bowl games in the beginning of the season?
I did not. I did not. I missed that. What's the rationale behind that, I guess?
So sorry about that. It looks like Coach CUTLIP is going to be able to join us here in just a second. But yeah, and so I missed everything you said. But I did think it was an interesting concept. With finally someone said student athletes, and it wasn't an administrator. So there you go. Hey, it's a good idea. We don't want to be playing games during finals, right? Yeah. Look, it's a really good thought process, but how do you decide who plays in the bowls? I mean,
that was kind of the first thought that I had is how do you match those teams up? How do they qualify for bowl participation?
Right.
The whole it's an interesting concept. I'm looking for the article and I'm not finding it. But
I'll get it to you in just a second, because we finally do have Coach CUTLIP on the line. So let's get to him. Coach, can you hear us?
He could hear us all along.
Billy, have you got him?
Yeah, I've got him, but he's on the line. I just.
But he can't hear us, and you can't hear us either.
I just heard him there for a sec.
So he still can't hear us.
And we can't hear him.
We still can't hear him for sure either way. So check 1, 2. There's Coach CUTLIP, but doesn't look like we're going to be able to get him on at all. Nope. All right. Well, then I guess, Mo, we'll just have to, unfortunately, we have to use a football term here, punt. We will take a retreat and try to come back and talk a little college football. And I will get you that article, because I did think it was interesting, and I wanted to get your thoughts and share my thoughts and see what we can come up with, because we've solved some problems here on this show. So.
Yeah, we have. Nobody listens to us, though. Figuratively or right, but yeah.
Right. So just check the schedule, and we'll run a show, and we will take a quick break. When we come back, we will get to that.
All right.
Right after this on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Y'all stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones and Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones and Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Got to figure out how to make that stay, Mo. It's getting real annoying having to pull us around every time, but it is what it is. Did you? I know obviously you've not had time to read this thing, but did you get the story? Have you?
Yeah, I've got it. I'm looking at it right now. It's basically, you're turning bowl games into kickoff classics over a 10-day, 2-week period to start the season.
Is that such a bad thing?
I don't know that it's such a bad thing necessarily, which kind of seems to be the reaction that this ESPN panel got from the panel that they put together of, college football movers and shakers, I guess. So, I mean, there has been some, and I get it.
I like what Doug Gillen said at Appalachian State AD. Did you see this? I wouldn't say it's the dumbest idea I ever saw.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think that's a great reaction to it. I mean, I think with where we are, with everything that has happened around the pandemic, and they kind of mentioned this in the lead-in to this article, you've seen that you don't have to schedule football games in advance. You can schedule football games 5 days in advance. I mean, I think so many things that we thought were true about college football, we learned aren't. If ever there was a time to really rethink some things, maybe this is it. Now that you realize that things can be more fluid than we thought and still be successful. And
you said it.
They talk about, the opt-outs that you're seeing with the postseason bowl game situation, and apparently everybody's bothered by, college kids taking charge of their careers in any way that might take place. So it's kind of, it's strange to me that
answer that question.
Well, it's just strange to me that opting out is a major consideration in reconfiguring bowl season. I just don't know that there are that many of them in the grand scheme of things, but it's enough for folks to feel like that's a reason to look at things differently.
The kids who are opting out are not the ones who are going to be playing these kickoff games. Are you saying that if you play in a kickoff game, you can't play in a bowl game unless you're in the playoffs? I mean, is that what we're saying here? Nick Caparelli says at their core, bowl games are designed to stimulate tourism in the community during a time of year that people aren't typically traveling. I don't know how incredibly true that is. I mean, a lot of people travel during Christmas, but that's neither here nor there. Staging a large number of neutral site games at the beginning of the season would run contrary to this mission. I mean, here's the thing. you'd have a lot more opportunity for places like Omaha or Milwaukee to host a bowl game or a kickoff classic, because I'd much rather travel there in August than in December. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not.
No. Yeah.
Point
I
to
mean,
the line.
I think it again would open up some opportunities for some other locations to maybe host some of these matchups. Maybe you refrain from calling them bowl games, but
Do they count?
why would they not?
But so Marcus Freeman, it's almost like a preseason game. It's a meaningful game, but to play one bowl game and then to get to your season and everybody fights to get a playoff, that's interesting. And I mean, to me, I think they should count. I mean, all you're doing is just like the Chick-fil-A kickoff and everything else. It's, that's exactly what we're doing here, is creating non-conference matchups that would be appealing to people, so we don't have to watch Alabama and Utah State.
Poor Utah State out here catching strays.
2 days in a row.
But sure, I mean, I think that's exactly right. I mean, I covered Tennessee and UNLV to open the season some time ago. I mean, who's really excited about that?
Nobody.
Who show of hands, who wants to see Tennessee and UNLV?
And so here's the cool thing is, and this is kind of their recruiting and award season calendar. After the conclusion of the regular season, coaching interviews can begin. So you can start interviewing coaches for positions if you fire yours. Monday after the conclusion of the regular season through December 31st would be the winter transfer window. So I guess they're putting a transfer portal window in here, which I don't necessarily hate. Third weekend in
it's
December.
not the dumbest idea I've heard.
It's not the dumbest idea I've heard. 12-team playoff opening round in the third week of December. So they've got a 12-team playoff, which is obviously what we have been clamoring for here on this show.
And so has Bill Hancock, by the way.
It's right. I mean, if the CFP playoff guys clamoring, I think it's a good move. You would not have signing period until you would have the signing through the first Monday of January through March 1st. So after your transfer window closes, then you sign your high school kids. Then you have the semifinals in the third Thursday in January, and the fourth Monday in January would be the national championship game. So we're just going to take December off.
Sounds like.
I don't like this. And I guess the reason I don't like it is because and I get it. I get the idea behind it is, kids are taking finals. And I don't think that's a bad reason to take December off, but as a fan, it sure would stink. Then again, I don't know how many bowl games I watched during December. I mean, I certainly, I watched obviously Middle Tennessee in their bowl game last year, but I don't think I watched maybe 3 or 4 non-Power 5 bowl games. I'd probably watch Middle and Toledo play on a Thursday, the second week of it tonight. I'd watch Middle and Toledo play tonight. I mean, if it weren't election night, but other than that, I mean,
there are a number of people that would watch Middle and Toledo play because it's election night.
There is that. So I mean, there's a pretty solid thought process behind this, and I don't hate it. I really don't. And again, anything that we can do to get compelling matchups in the beginning of the season, I'm all for. Chick-fil-A and Gary Stoken and his team have certainly proven it's a model that can work.
Absolutely.
And I don't see any reason why we're not trying this in some form or fashion.
And college football really needs a revamp on a number of different fronts, I think. And so why not just tear it all the way down? I mean, you're doing a lot of stuff right now simply because that's the way it's always been done. And I think we're kind of at a point that that is not a sound argument. Just because it's been done that way.
Well, that's how we've always done it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's
the power rankings come out on Tuesday because they come out on Tuesday.
Because they come out on Tuesdays. Yeah.
Doesn't matter if we're playing a Wednesday game. The rankings come out on
or
Tuesday.
a Tuesday game.
Or a Tuesday game. Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. And not necessarily everything that they have talked about in there, but I do think that it needs some sort of revamp.
I think that there is certainly a lot in this article, and it would really be worth going out and finding if you are any kind of way a college football fan. And if you're listening to us, I'd like to think that you are. I just think that there's a lot to digest in here, certainly more than we can in one segment, but it's a lot to consider. And a lot of it is not the dumbest idea I've ever heard.
That's the key right there. It's not the dumbest idea, but I do think that you could take some things here and there and implement them, even if you did it slowly, and it would work out. So,
yeah.
All right, let's take a halftime break here, and we will talk a little bit about the world outside of sports for just a second when we come back here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Be back after this. This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl Bananarama, so the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice. All right, Mo. So let's dive in here because I've got a question.
Talk to me.
Now, you've heard Walker Hayes' song Fancy Like. Fancy like Applebee's on a date night, etc., etc. Well, you have to understand, for those of you who don't know, it's fancy like Applebee's on a date night. Well, recently, while doing an interview to promote his new single, Y'all Life, which, by the way, he filmed the music video in Chapel Hill at Forest High School.
I've seen some clips with the Forest football team involved in that. I've not heard the song. Kind of hoping I don't. But
it's exactly what you don't want to
hear. Yeah,
you don't. I mean, you just don't.
But I mean, it's kind of cool for the football team to be involved in something like that, I would think. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. He said that there has been talk of us for real opening an Applebee's down on Broadway in Nashville, but like a fancy like Applebee's. So it would be a little bit more upscale than a regular
Applebee's.
Which I thought that was pretty funny because there's only one Nashville location, and it's the one in Berry Hill over there where, we got our sandwich that day when we were headed to wherever we were headed.
Yeah. The only one?
That's the only one in Nashville.
There used to be one on Old Hickory over there in Nippers Corner. Is it not still there?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't go to Nashville very often, to be honest. But doesn't upscale Applebee's kind of defeat the purpose, though? I mean, isn't that kind of oxymoron-ish?
Yeah, it is. But I just thought that was interesting that, you can kind of I don't know. It is weird. I think it would be a little bit of an oxymoron to have a fancy Applebee's, especially on Broadway, because I mean, you're talking about it's going to be drunk people anyway. I mean, let's be honest here. How fancy can you be on Broadway? Because during the summer, 85% of the people are sweating bullets and drinking silver ones. And that's
did you see the video on Twitter a couple of nights ago, I guess, about a couple of young ladies who literally could not stand up on Broadway?
No, but I've seen that in person a couple of times. Obviously, when I worked down there, it was, it wasn't unusual. And I worked on Tuesday nights. So that tells you all you need to know. That's pretty bad when that's what you're hearing on Tuesday nights. All right, we're going to take another quick break here. When we return on Main Street Sports Today, we talk Braves. So should be fun. Stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, is back after this.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mo Patton, Chris Yao here with you on this Thursday edition as we continue our Braves chatter each and every day. We are talking on our Daily Braves segment brought to you by Insert Your Business Here. Contact us to join Main Street Sports Today. That's all you got to do. Just let us know. We'd be happy to let you sponsor this segment for at least the next couple of months, I guess. But Mo, we got a big series coming in the Big Apple.
And a big pitching matchup to get it started up. Kyle Wright, 13-4 with a 2.93 ERA. Goes up against, is that Carlos Carrasco for the Mets? Yes. 11-4 with a 3.79.
11-4 with a 3.79. Imagine being that lucky.
I mean, a 3.79 in the majors these days is nowadays, not a bad number. So the Mets 66-38 on the year, the Braves 63-42, trailing by 3.5 games. And I had meant to try to sit down and figure out exactly what kind of outcomes the Braves would need in this 5-game, 4-day series to come out of New York with a lead. And
4-1.
Would 4-1 do it? I'm not sure. I don't think 4-1 would do it because that's only 3 games.
That's right.
I think
you're
it'll be
out.
A game down. So anything short of a sweep. And the Braves are still going to be behind at the end of the weekend. So, don't go in necessarily expecting the Braves to flip the standings here, because I don't think even the biggest Braves fan could expect a 5-game sweep of this team. The Mets are good.
The Mets are good. You can't. No, you're absolutely not going to go into New York and win 5 games. but I think you got to win the series.
Well, yeah, I think you got to win the series because you got to shut some people up. It shouldn't matter, but I think you've got to put a little doubt in their mind.
Exactly. And if you're able to do that, it might be over.
Yeah. I think you've got to make them wonder, dang, how good are we? And I think you've got to remind some folks on the national stage, yeah, we're still the defending World Series champions.
That's right. I mean, and look, you still got a pitching staff that can make that happen, especially now with the addition of Odorizzi.
And the subtraction of Will Smith.
And the subtraction of Will Smith. Those are the two biggest moves of the and it all happened in one. But yeah, I mean,
you realize Will Smith gave up a home run to the second batter he faced as a Houston Astro, right?
Well, that's par for the course, as we like to say.
That's what he do. So
that's
yeah. So now he can go do it somewhere else. My only fear is that we some kind of way see those guys and he rechannels 2021 postseason Will Smith. That's a long way off, but
that's if we're gonna see him, it's gonna be in the World Series, and boy, wouldn't that be something?
Wow, yeah.
I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to see Dusty Baker in the World Series again. I can tell you that. I feel like we got out of there. I still feel like we were the better team, but boy, I'd hate to
have to try to beat him twice in a row. Yes.
Yeah, I would not want to do that.
But,
so this team, like you said, they really need to win 3. I think if you win anything less than 2, it is an absolute disaster, because then you're what, 7 games out at that point.
I mean, this is, you got to win the series. I think that's a pretty accurate statement. I mean, 2-3 even does not make me feel good.
No, again, because you're 5 games out. That's where be 5 games out.
Yeah, it'd be about 5.
And 5 is not over, just completely unovercomable. But
but
it's
I think
a bad
it's
situation to find yourself in.
I think it's more the mental and the emotional aspect of it than it is the actual numbers. Because you're still going to see these guys a few more times, but I think
you'd have 7. You still have 7 more times against them, and that's
after
the thing.
This.
Yeah, that's really the scary part is if you don't, and it gets into your head, then what?
Yeah, you want to be the aggressor as far as this goes. You want to create that doubt. You don't want to have doubt created. So to go into their place and take a series from them, suppose
we split the 4-game series when we weren't even good.
Yeah. So I mean, so you're going to see Taijuan Walker tomorrow. He matches up with Ian Anderson, who's coming off of by far his best start of the year. The Braves nor the Mets starters for Saturday's 12-10 matchup have been announced yet, and I guess that's
I've got Fried and Scherzer.
You've got Fried and Scherzer in the early game. What you got in the late game then?
Odorizzi and David Peterson.
Okay, and then on Sunday,
Strider DeGrom. 100 miles of scariness.
You're right. Yeah. And that'll be DeGrom's second start after taking that 5-1 loss to the Nats earlier this week. So, man, you might actually see some bunts in that game, because stringing hits together against those two guys might not be easy.
100%. I mean, that's going to be a tough one. And then
that may be a get on base any way you can kind of thing for both teams.
The Braves are in an 11-game road trip.
Yeah,
5
they leave
against New York, 2 against Boston, and then 4 in Miami.
Those 2-game series are really odd.
They're very weird
because they just played 2 against Philadelphia. That's bizarre.
And I understand it I understand it more in interleague play. I don't necessarily understand it in division play unless they were games and unless those are games that are being made up.
Possibly.
So I don't know, but it is weird. It is very odd for sure. But that's where, again, this is a road trip that you kind of find out what you're made out of. I mean, obviously Boston and Miami are not great, but those are teams you've got to beat. And if you don't perform well in New York and then lose to teams you're supposed to beat, you're all of a sudden barving.
Yeah. And that Miami series is another, 3-day, 4-game series because there's a Saturday doubleheader there as well. But you've got off days going into Boston and coming out of Boston. I don't know what that means in terms of rhythm and that kind of thing. Maybe it's a chance to kind of reset your pitching staff a little bit after a doubleheader and with a doubleheader coming up. But this is a challenging piece of the schedule, like you said.
It is interesting though, Mo, that you mentioned that, because I guess this it's a 6-man rotation is what they're going, or is what they're showing here in so Charlie Morton will pitch on 6 days rest
against Boston,
because
he's not going to pitch at all in this Mets series,
right? Because he just pitched on Wednesday. Then he pitched yesterday, but he won't pitch again until next Tuesday.
And then
this is the time the 6-man rotation really works well for the Braves.
Yeah.
Good thing we got 6, huh?
Yeah, good thing we picked up Odorizzi, and surely that wasn't lost on Anthopoulos, no doubt.
Right? Great timing. Timing is everything, as you like to say, Mo.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, well, let's tell them what happened, Mo, on this day in Braves history.
August 4th, 2001, Atlanta's Wes Helms had a day, going 3 for 5 with a triple, 2 home runs, and a career-high 7 runs batted in as the Braves down host Milwaukee 14-2. Entering the day, Helms had been 0 for his last 18, then struck out in his first at-bat in the second inning before hitting a 2-run homer in the third, a bases-loaded triple in the fifth, and another 2-run shot in the ninth. Wes Helms, ladies and gentlemen.
When's the last time we've had bases clearing triples in back-to-back days in Braves history?
The triple is the most exciting play in baseball. So whenever we can find those, it's a good thing.
I'm for it. Yep. All right, we are going to do our absolute best. We're gonna do everything we can to make sure that Justin Apodaca is able to hear us and we're able to hear him in this next segment, because we really want to talk some Big 12 football and Texas Tech. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Hey, welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton here with you, the Hall of Famer and National Sports Media Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year, Mo Patton. In case y'all forgot, I know I don't do a good job of reminding y'all as much as others might have.
It's okay. I'm over it.
You are.
I appreciate the talk.
I gotta tell people. I gotta go out and try to sell ads, and I'm like, Mo, you're just quit. Just let me just tell people who you are. It's important. It's important to all of us. What else is important to us is if we can have our guests on and be able to hear them.
It's infinitely more important. Oh, wait a minute. Wait.
How are we, gents?
Hey, whoa! Hey, we can hear you.
Wait,
Justin.
we can hear him,
okay.
but
it's okay. Just listen. He did this on purpose because he's been watching the show. He knows we're Braves fans.
I might have left it up.
I don't even know if I can have a conversation with this man. I truly don't. Yeah.
It's a good thing we're talking about football because I'm sorry, I did not properly vet the guest. I apologize.
Yeah, well, Justin, I hope you enjoy this because this could be one and done, baby. I'm gonna tell you.
Oh man.
Go ahead and introduce this
Justin,
guy.
Justin, am I saying your last name right? Is it APODACA?
It's APODACA.
APODACA. Well, I had a 1 in 3 shot. And,
you're doing better than I've heard. So
it is. Well, I mean, my last name is Yao, and I get weird stuff too. So I understand completely. So APODACA. Justin writes for RedRaidersports.com, which is part of the Rivals Network.
Rivals.
Make sure I get that one right.
Yeah.
And it covers Texas Tech, which means we hope that he can help us with a little bit of Big 12 knowledge because whatever he's got is going to be more than we have. And looking forward to this conversation because the Big 12 is obviously, in kind of a weird situation so that
it's a fluid situation.
It is a fluid situation. And so how, what is this season going to be like with all of the questions surrounding the conference, right?
Yeah, it feels like it's going to be kind of a normal season. I mean, we're kind of building up to kind of excited about the whole conference. I mean, saw a lot of talent come in from the SEC and elsewhere to other programs. But, yeah, I mean, right now it seems like it's going to be normal, at least until you see the departure of Texas and Oklahoma and the addition of the 4 from the American.
How soon do you expect that departure of Texas and Oklahoma? I mean, do you think it's going to take place any quicker than originally announced? What's your feel as far as that goes?
I mean, my higher ups over there believe that it's going to be 25 when it actually happens, but I think with the UCLA and USC news going 24, you might see it all happen a little sooner. That's just my opinion there.
Well, your opinion matters. Otherwise, we wouldn't have you on the show, Justin. Yeah, no, seriously though, that's still hanging over everyone's head. Is Texas and Oklahoma leaving? Where if they do leave early, a little financial windfall could
Right.
take place, and that's important. Obviously, you've got the AAC teams that are going to come in. Are they going to come in early? And are you going to have a 16 team conference?
Yeah, I believe
for
so. I
season?
believe in 2023 next year that they're going to enter the conference.
So you have a year of that, and or maybe even 2 years, I guess. But then again, who knows with the Pac-12 and the Big 12 situation? It's just there are a lot of questions. How the coaches can't focus on that. Right now, Texas Tech's coaching staff is just focusing on week 1, and it's not easy to do when folks are asking you all these questions, but it's got to be done. It's what you have to do.
Right, exactly. I mean, camp opened today at Texas Tech. They had their media day out there, and it's mostly focusing on week 1 against Murray State on September 3rd. That's what's number 1 on the docket.
Murray State going all the way out to Lubbock. That ought to be a fun trip. It's tough to get past the expansion and the realignment and that kind of thing. But when you look at this conference, you've got 3 new coaches coming in addition to all the other changes. How do you feel like Venables, Dykes, and obviously Joey McGuire impact the way things play out in this conference this year?
Well, this year, I think Venables is going to be able to carry over a lot of what's been already in place over there. And Dykes and McGuire, they're both bringing new situations, and both programs are kind of questionable with the quarterback situation right now. Both programs haven't announced a starter yet. Kind of an interesting spot, about a month out from games.
It's interesting you say that, because Venables, with his background, is a little unique, obviously, for the Big 12.
Yeah.
I mean, a defensive background is not something you expect to see from a coach in the Big 12.
In the Big 12.
And that's not a shot. That's just the way it's been.
Right. And then, even with McGuire, personally experienced, it's all he's been preaching is defense is what his side of the ball is, what he gravitates towards. And so, you could see, yes, Oklahoma's leaving, but this year seems like there's a lot of defensive minded, I guess, kind of shift in that direction, maybe.
You talk about the quarterback situations at a number of places with Oklahoma losing, Rattler and Williams after Riley's departure. How do things shape up there? Is the guy from Central Florida, is he the starter? Do you get a feel for what they're going to do down there yet?
That's what I've heard. I think that's what they're going to end up with, unless they decide to throw out General Booty out there. But that could be. I don't know really the situation out there, but I think that they're going to end up rocking with the kid from Central Florida.
That's your best bet. An experienced kid with a new coaching staff is probably the ideal situation. But the Big 12 with 10 teams,
yes,
playing their round robin schedule. I know it's so hard for me to figure all this stuff out. Who's got how many teams anymore? I just don't know. But they play the round robin schedule, but then they decide to play the conference championship game, and it's kind of unique and intriguing. What did the media? What did the media pick this year?
I believe they picked Baylor, I want to say.
Gotcha.
I believe, and that's what I picked personally. But
so your vote was for Baylor.
Yes.
Who'd you have number 2?
Oklahoma.
Okay. So you think Venables can get it done?
I think so. I think that they just have the talent to do so.
Oh, they certainly have the talent. There's no question there. Yeah, I can't find it anywhere, so I'm gonna just trust that you're telling us the truth and that it's Baylor.
It's tough to argue against Oklahoma for sure, even though it was Baylor and Oklahoma State in last year's Big 12 championship game. But I mean, year after year, if you pick Oklahoma in the top 2 of the Big 12, you're going to be right a lot more than you're going to be wrong, I think. Justin Apodaca with Rival Sports joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Where do you see Oklahoma State if you've got Baylor and Oklahoma, Justin?
I have them at 3, and then I have Texas at 4. So I lined up exactly with the rest of the media in the conference.
Gotcha. Well, who's the dark horse then? Is there a team that can finish in that top 3 or 4 that people aren't talking about?
They've gotten a little buzz of late in Big 12 circles, but Kansas State really impressed me. The addition of Adrian Martinez from Nebraska getting some work there. He'll be the starter there, and then Deuce Vaughn was great last year. So
Adrian Martinez, who wasn't great at Nebraska.
Yeah.
But it's Nebraska, Mo.
Yeah, maybe it was Nebraska. Maybe it wasn't Adrian Martinez. Huh?
We don't know. We'll find out.
I guess we'll find out one way or the other. Yeah.
I mean, when you got guys like Deuce Vaughn and offensive tackles like Cooper Beebe, blocking for Deuce Vaughn, it certainly gives you a little bit of it takes a little pressure off of a guy like Adrian Martinez. So that run game is going to be what they lean on heavily, I have to expect. Would you agree?
Oh, I agree. Vaughn was impressive as all can be when we saw him on the road last year, and he was great. I mean, he torched us, but
there you go. Go ahead.
I just got to ask, at the risk of getting away from Kansas State, if that's your top 5, Baylor, Oklahoma State, Texas, and Kansas State, has Matt Campbell stayed too long at Iowa State?
I don't know. I think that they're also going to be competitive. I think that they're fine. I'm not super impressed with anything on paper that jumps out to me on there. I'm not going to answer that question. I don't know if I could give you a true answer there if he stayed too long.
It's okay. I kind of put you on the spot with it a little bit. I just feel like he was kind of a hot coach, a hot name in some searches here over the past couple of years, and had a chance for some upward mobility and didn't necessarily take them. And at programs like an Iowa State, sometimes you've got to make that move because it's tough to sustain those upward mobility opportunities at those type schools. And it's really a timing situation with those guys at those places, I think.
Right.
But
if last year, I mean, they were ranked really high coming in the preseason and then kind of finished okay. They didn't have the best season that they were expected to have, I guess, if you could say that.
But conversely, if you stay and you just have decent years and every now and then win 9 or 10 games and maybe win the Big 12, you leave there a hero. They build statues to you.
That is true.
Doing your job.
Yeah.
So, maybe he just didn't want to be, maybe he just doesn't want the pressure of, winning year in and year out. Iowa State is not worried if you go 6-6 one year.
That's a good point. And he's a Midwest guy. I mean, he coached at Toledo. He's from Ohio. So, I mean, there's probably some comfort in being in that top environment. So, maybe for him that is kind of topped out. And like you said, 6-6, they're not going to be rushing your door. So I just thought it was interesting because, again, I thought he had some opportunities that he did not pursue, and just curious about him in that situation there at Iowa State.
So we've heard your top 5. Where are your Red Raiders?
I have them 8th, ahead of West Virginia and Kansas.
Ahead of West Virginia. Interesting.
Yes. I'm a believer. I'm drinking the Joey McGuire Kool-Aid. I think that the defense is going to be improved. Tyree Wilson is going to be a weapon on defense. They're talking about him in the outside linebacker spot and working in on the D-line to get to the quarterback, which has been just a problem for as long as I can remember.
There you go. I didn't necessarily expect to see Texas Tech, anywhere near the top. I really didn't know if they were a middle of the pack Big 12 team either, just because of obviously new coaching staff and all that goes with that. But again, with all the new coaches coming in, who knows, right?
Right.
But this is going to be an interesting year for Big 12 football. And if any team, do you think that this is a conference that's going to beat itself up necessarily, or can somebody come out of this thing undefeated with a shot to get into the playoffs?
I feel like it could be a similar situation to what happened last year, where you have Oklahoma State or Baylor that could take that step into the fourth slot of the playoff, and it just falls apart
with some help.
Yeah, I think again, Baylor, I think they're the best team in the conference and they could do it, but I think that they're going to end up falling in one of those, road games or something.
Yeah, because it's one, you're still Baylor. Two, and that's not to say anything necessarily bad, but two, you got a lot going on there that in the Big 12 where it's long road trips for one, which doesn't seem like it is, but there are long road trips in that, especially when you're coming from Waco.
Right.
And two, these Big 12 teams, offenses, they get it clicking one day for whatever reason, and next thing you know, you look up and you've given up 42 points.
Right.
42? You've given up 42 and a half.
You can.
Yeah.
So I'm always interested to see the Big 12. It's not exactly Pac-12 after dark, but the Big 12 sure does make for fun football.
Yeah, I'm personally very excited to, be on the beat and watch this unfold. I think this is going to be a really interesting year with the Big 12, with what could be like your last real run with Oklahoma and Texas and your true Big 12, I guess you could say, for the last 10 years or so.
So is this your first year on the beat?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Well, first football season. I was back last year.
Gotcha. Well,
ought to be fun.
Welcome and enjoy it. It's going to be a lot of fun, I'm sure, and we will keep an eye out on the Red Raiders and follow RedRaidersports.com. Where can they find you on Twitter?
At Justin Apod, just like my name. All my writing on RedRaidersports.com. Everything sometimes on the forums there. So.
You find you there. Exactly. Well, we appreciate you taking some time and telling us a little bit about what's going on in Big 12 world as we continue our college football preview coverage here on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Justin, thanks so much, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. All right, that's going to do it for Big 12. Mo, your boy AJ Brown, talking that trash. And I don't know, man.
He can't help himself, man. He really can't.
He talking that stuff, and I don't know that it's a good idea. He's got to see us on December 7th. Mr. Retired number going to come after him one good time.
Oh, well, he's going to see us, but we're going to see him too. And
yeah, but Jalen Hurts has to throw it to him.
Be nice. Be nice.
Oh, man. Let's talk about what AJ said.
I will tell you this. That's going to be a fun offense with AJ and former Heisman Trophy winner Devontae Smith, who knows a little something.
He knows a little something, that's for sure. So, yeah, we'll talk about what AJ said on the other side of the break here on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Final segment of this Thursday edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint here, and we talk a little bit about the Tennessee Titans' former number one wide receiver, A.J. Brown, who, after the news broke of Deebo Samuel's new deal, said, "We all four got the same contract, but I was the one who traded. Quote, keep thinking it was me." Now, look, that's throwing some shade at the Titans, and I understand that. And he's not necessarily wrong, but you also have to understand that the Tennessee Titans were in a very precarious salary cap situation, and I don't think there was any way possible to give him a deal like he was going to get in Philadelphia, or a deal like Deebo Samuel's and Tyreek Hill, etc. So I don't think he's necessarily telling the whole truth.
Well, he's telling his truth, though.
But it's
which
not
to
the
him,
whole truth.
It's not the whole truth, but it's his truth, and it's the only truth that matters to him. Now, the Titans' truth is that they weren't going to be able to sign AJ to the deal he wanted or to the deal that he got in Philly and sign Jeff Simmons. And, you know, I think if you're looking AJ Green, Jeff Simmons, and you're the Titans, you're going to sign Jeff Simmons. That's why we're waiting on a deal out of him, I think, before the end of training camp. But, you know, at the same time, I get his frustration, and what it says to me is he didn't want to leave.
No, I don't think he wanted to leave, but he also was unwilling to to negotiate in good faith, knowing that, you know, just wait a couple of years, let us redo your deal, and you'll get your money. But then again, with his injuries last year and, you know, him not playing the entire season, I think he wanted to get his money before something happened. And look,
something else happened. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't blame him for that.
No, That's the thing. I mean, I don't blame him for wanting to get his money. I don't blame any player
That's right.
for wanting his money. And if you got to go somewhere else to get it, then that just comes with it, because players are looking out for their best interests. Teams are looking out for their best interests, and I'm not mad at either of them at this point. And if he had to go to Philly to get the money that he wanted, then it is what it is. But like you said, the talking after the fact is a little kind of let it go ish.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. No. I mean, just because, look, nobody wanted him gone. Not fan wise, and I don't think John Robinson wanted to trade him, but John Robinson has to do what's best for the Tennessee Titans, and at the time, the only thing he could do was that.
Right.
And of course, obviously, drafting Traylon Burks, hoping that he can somewhat fill that role, and then you've got slot receiver Kyle Phillips, who has apparently caught the eye of starting quarterback Ryan Tannehill with his precise route running. The 5'11", 189-pounder rookie, probably not winning a lot of 50-50 balls, Mo, but could certainly be a serious player for this team who needs some wide receiver depth when you're looking at, Robert Woods coming off an injury. Traylon Burks is a rookie with at least some sort of asthma issues. Noah Westbrook-Akine is your number 2 or 3 right now. He and Burks probably fighting for that role. He's a guy that's going to give you some depth and probably make some big plays for a guy like Tannehill who likes to be able to dump it off.
He's going to give you some depth. He's going to make some big plays, but like you said, he's not going to win a whole lot of 50-50 balls. And as you consider a receiver core that does not have a big physical, lost a big physical guy like an A.J. Brown, who fills that role for you at this point?
It's got to be Burks. It's obviously not Westbrook-Akine, and I think Robert Woods has some of that in him. I think he's a guy who can fight downfield for those.
He's a guy
balls.
Who can fight downfield, but he's not a big in stature,
but I don't know who goes across the middle.
Yeah.
And Kyle Phillips not afraid to go across the middle, don't get me wrong, but he also you can't throw it over the linebacker, and expect to hit Phillips on a crossing pattern because he's 5'11".
Right.
And being 5'11". So there you go.
Listen to you. But
I've been there. I understand. It's hard to do. It's hard to cross the middle of the field at when you've got linebackers who are 6'2", 6'3", with arm spans that are just massive, like Zach Cunningham. Luckily, we don't have to face him anymore twice a year.
Right? Yeah, he's on our side now.
Just in practice. Talking about practice. Anyway, you gonna watch the Hall of Fame game tonight?
If I'm here, I might check it out for a minute. I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way. I've got a few things I've got to do once we get off the air, and if I get back in front of a TV by 7, wait a minute. No, I'm not going to watch. No, I'll be watching the Braves and the Mets if I watch anything.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah. No.
I got. I will be. It's election night. I'll be at the election commission. So
have fun with that, baby.
Normally, I would be in here where you see me now with this television behind me on one thing and the television in the corner over there on something else, and being able to watch 2 things at once, but not tonight. So I won't be watching it either, but that is what it is.
I'm not ready really for NFL football. I'm not ready for high school football, to be honest, but nobody asks me about that. So, but yeah, if I'm watching any sporting event tonight, again, it will be emanating from Citi Field.
There you go. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks to Justin APODACA for giving us some Big 12 updates. Thanks to Coach Ken CUTLIP, who worked really hard and was very flexible with us to try and get on. We'll have to have him on Coach's Corner here soon. and very soon, because I feel really bad we weren't able to get him on today. But hopefully, maybe we can get him in studio next time, Mo. That'll make it a lot easier.
Hey, yeah.
But that's going to do it for Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. For Mo Patton, I'm Chris Shaw saying have a great day. We'll see you next time.